following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. On Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Let me say something else, too, about Mo Patton. Mo has done it all. I mean, he's covered the Titans. He's covered the Vols. He's done high school. He's a fantastic writer. He's now actually hosting a talk show every day in Columbia that is outstanding.
I got my Alabama drink with me today, JP. A little Grapico action.
There we go.
I'm the second best thing never come out of Alabama.
Wow.
And that's
Right
the
next to
best.
Grapico.
Oh, wow.
The music in the beginning of
Mhm.
that is kind of groovy. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
That's Mo. He's a groovy kind of fella. It's a groovy kind of Tuesday with the grooviest man this side of the Duck River, the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, and the second best thing to come out of Alabama, Chris Yao. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today.
I don't even know how our heads fit inside these headphones anymore, Mo.
Mine doesn't.
it's just, all day. Just keeps getting bigger. It's all right.
Hey, everybody needs a hype man.
Everybody, you know what? He's gonna have to find that Steve Harvey clip. When I bring you out, don't I? There's no doubting when we're coming on the air. Excited for this Top 5 Tuesday. It's going to be a great day. Hope you guys are excited to talk sports as well. Looking forward to it. We've got a lot to get to today. Some transfer portal news. Got at least a couple of
Landings.
and some that were
That weren't
reported.
Yeah, there we go.
And cool thing today, we got two guests back to back. Chip Walters joins us from the Bahamas. Jerk.
Right.
And Teresa Walker from her couch with her shoulder.
In a sling.
In a sling.
Yeah.
But it's also Top 5 Tuesday, which today is the 5 best Heisman runners-up. Since we dipped out the trophy this past weekend to Bryce Young, figured let's talk about who the best number 2 were.
Should be interesting.
When I started looking at the list,
Mm-hmm.
Nobody remembers who finished second. Right? I forgot AJ McCarron finished second. AJ McCarron. I mean, come on, man. So anyway, well, now we know.
Mm-hmm.
Got some great top stories to get to as well. We're going to do that. But before we get to our top stories and the rest of today's show, we, of course, need to give you yesterday's results, today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
Let's do it.
This is your Tuesday Rundown brought to you by Jim Davis at Grow Live Give. Visit them at growlivegive.com or give them a call at 615-682-0022. Securities offered through IFP Securities, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, IFP member, FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through IFP Advisors, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, Registered Investment Advisor. IFP and Grow Live Give are not affiliated.
In high school girls basketball action on Monday night, Culleoka defeated Riverside Christian 54-32. It was Santa Fe going to Lewisburg, coming back with a 37-27 victory over Marshall County. Summertown hit 10 threes on a 57-28 win over Fayetteville. Wayne County 87, Mount Pleasant 14.
So what you're saying is Summertown could have only hit threes and still won. That's impressive. Oh, and the boys' side, Culleoka down to Riverside Christian 68-38. Marshall County edged Santa Fe 67-65.
In overtime.
Yeah. Summertown on the road beating a good Fayetteville team 81-67.
Well, it helps when you get 45 points from Gavin Burleson.
I mean, 45 that's
Yeah.
nothing big. And Mount Pleasant gets a road win 53-40 over Wayne County.
In NFL action on Monday night, it was the Rams holding off Arizona 30-23. NBA action, the Grizzlies continue to roll. Yahoo 126-91 over Philadelphia. Junior college basketball yesterday afternoon, as we discussed on yesterday's show, Columbia State with an 88-62 win over Southeast Missouri Prep at Columbia Academy.
I guess the basketball team in Memphis is bound to win.
At least one.
Apparently only one at a time. It's not illegal for both of them.
Unfortunately for the other one. Yeah.
Tonight's schedule, Community is traveling to Richland, Cornersville hosting Hampshire, Loretto is at Lawrence County at the Ralph.
At the Ralph. Also, Mount Pleasant hosts Murfreesboro Central. Spring Hill travels to Franklin County. Summertown goes south to Rogers, Alabama. And in high school wrestling action, Spring Hill is at Eagleville. That's a 5:30 start.
At 6 o'clock tonight, you can hear Tennessee hosting South Carolina Upstate. That's going to be on ESPN Plus at 6 o'clock, but also you can hear it on 103.7, I guess. Columbia Central's playing tonight, right?
No.
So, yes, you can hear that on 103.7 tonight then.
Isn't there also some basketball on 101.7?
There is, in fact, as Alabama is at Memphis. That's an 8 o'clock tip.
That other Memphis basketball team.
You can watch it on ESPN or you can listen to it right here on 101.7 WKOM. And that's going to do it for your Tuesday rundown. All right. So, one of those games that was not on the schedule that we have had on other schedules, like at MainStreetMurray.com, a postponement. Zion Christian and Culleoka will not play tonight. They will play on January 6th.
January 6th.
Anything else going on that night? I don't guess so.
January 6th?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's on a Thursday, so hard to say. I've not looked that far ahead. I'm just trying.
I don't even know what's going on next week.
I don't know what's going on today, but yeah, just got a text from Zion Christian Athletics Director Derek Boyd trying to get some clarity on this rescheduled doubleheader, and he says that much like the Columbia Central girls who were unable to play Saturday night against Page, flu has hit the Lady Eagles. And they are down to 4 available players, and I imagine they're trying to keep those 4 away from everybody else. So,
yeah. I wonder if they were hanging out together.
That's what I texted them. I said, y'all's girls and Central's girls been hanging out.
Apparently.
So, so they will not play, and as a result, the boys will not play either. So that doubleheader again has been rescheduled for January 6th, and that'll be at Culleoka as originally scheduled. So there's that.
In college football news, 2 days after East Tennessee State's magical run through the FCS playoffs came to an end, Coach Randy Sanders announces his retirement from college football coaching. That's a pretty good way to go out. I mean, it's not 15-0 John Olive state championship, but taking East Tennessee State to the 3rd round of the playoffs, that's pretty solid.
When you're talking about a program that had shut down.
Yeah. I mean.
So, 56 years old. 4 years as a head, 4 or 5 years, 26 and 16 at ETSU after previous stops at, well, he was at UT for a long time where he played. He was also at Florida State for some period of time, I believe, as an assistant. So, nice run. 56 years old. Must be nice retiring at 56.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like John Olive said. You know, when your health gets too bad, you can't enjoy retirement. What's the point? So get it while you can, I guess.
It's the only person to have been a part of both the first and last Bowl Championship Series national champions, having been quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator for the University of Tennessee in 1998. Quarterbacks coach for Florida State in 2013.
So what you're saying is he's a pretty good quarterback coach.
He was also
T. Martin and Jameis Winston.
There you go. Also worked with Andre Woodson at Kentucky.
He's not. He wasn't bad either.
No, he was not. So, again, took over at East Tennessee State following the 2017 season, led them to 2 Southern Conference regular season championships and a couple of FCS playoff appearances, including this last run that just finished with a loss at North Dakota State. No great shame in that.
No, not at all. I noticed that you have in here Michael Penick Jr. headed to Washington.
Yeah. I kind of stuck that in there. I knew and then I saw that you had some other stuff below that. So we might talk about that in the next segment, because what I would like to, we got about 3.5 minutes left, but I want to talk about this story on ESPN.com. Andrea Adelson with a story on Sarah Fuller yesterday. I think yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of her making 2 field goals in an FBS game. Really? Did they play that late?
Well, because of COVID, they had rescheduled games and whatnot or something like that. So pretty cool. I'm either way, last year, obviously Sarah Fuller was part of that Vanderbilt team. And apparently she is now playing college soccer at North Texas. We know that. But apparently there was a teammate showed Sarah a picture of a girl named Allie Kolba. And basically Allie is one of many girls who are playing high school football these days and lives right down the street from the University of North Texas. So they got to meet up and hang out, and it's just really cool how Sarah and what she did last year is impacting young females. We saw a female on Tullahoma's team, or was it somebody's team?
I know Nashville Christian had one.
Nashville
Macy
Christian
Crampton plays kicker for them.
Well, I think on Saturday morning we were walking. It may have been JP that was walking with me and said, I think that they had a female on the sideline as well. So it's pretty cool to see how Sarah Fuller and what she did last year is continuing to impact high school football with, girls playing. And of course, Williamson County is having the flag football league beginning in the spring. Alabama crowned the state champion in over their Super 7.
I believe Georgia did as well.
Alabama does theirs on Wednesday. They do the unified game, which is the special needs. Then they do the girls flag football, and then they do the Class 7A state championship back to back on Wednesday. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool. And it's cool, like you said, that Sarah Fuller is continuing to have an impact on the game and on young women in the game. So
Miss Kolba made all 9 of her extra points this year. She was the backup kicker at Ryan High School. Attempted 9, made 9.
There you go.
So you can't beat that. We have a good show coming up. When we come back, we are going to talk about the transfer portal. Some reporting that maybe one guy said he was going, then he said he wasn't. I don't know. We'll talk about that. Where's Spencer Rattler headed? Pretty big news.
Not where we thought.
Not at all. So looking forward to it. And again, Chip Walters, Teresa Walker, Top 5 Tuesday, all that coming up. So stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio after these messages from our fine sponsors. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Festop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Festop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Festop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
The sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Don't forget, we are bringing you the most timely and comprehensive sports coverage in the area at mainstreetmurray.com, mainstreetpreps.com. Got you covered from Dixon to Lebanon, from Portland to Loretto. You can't get Portland to Loretto is it. That's state line to state line.
That's it.
Down, I
It
mean,
is.
there's no getting around that. Like that's it. that is from Kentucky to Alabama.
It's pretty impressive when you think about it.
It really is. And again, check it out, mainstreetpreps.com for coverage of all Middle Tennessee. If you're looking for direct local coverage, mainstreetmurray.com. You can pick up the paper in racks around town. Get tomorrow's news today. They are being put on racks as we speak around town. So
You too can be Nostradamus.
who needs a crystal ball when
There
you
you go.
have tomorrow's newspaper in front of you? That's like, could you imagine somebody picking that up and like not realizing it? And when we're talking about the hostage video, and then they hold up the paper and it has tomorrow's date on it.
A little time travel. There you go.
That would be wild. Like, this video is not real. That says tomorrow.
That's tomorrow, yeah.
Anyway. Oh man.
We diverge.
We get off on tangents sometimes. It
Yeah.
happens. It's okay. That's going to be in tomorrow's opening.
It's good fodder. Yes.
Oh, well, I wish I'd had some time travel yesterday to know when we were talking about Tank Bigsby in the transfer portal.
That he wasn't.
Apparently he's not going into the transfer portal.
Maybe Tank Bigsby did a little time traveling.
He must have.
He went forward and decided that maybe this ain't such a good place to be.
Either that, or dude made it up. I mean,
That never happens.
I could certainly see it.
Has Bigsby made a comment? Has he said something?
I don't think so.
I mean, so how did we come to the conclusion that he, in fact, is not in the portal?
Well, the person who said he was going then recanted his tweet.
Okay.
And pro football, PFF college football has Tank Bigsby will not be entering the transfer portal as of an hour ago. So
I don't know that you can say he will not be.
yeah.
Maybe he just hasn't to this point.
Right.
I mean, because I think you made some pretty good points when you were discussing it yesterday.
Apparently, okay, this is from Justin Hokeson, who on 3 Sports. This is the guy who reported he was leaving. And here's the thing. What Hokinson said yesterday was Tank Bigsby tells me he's leaving. Okay. Today, the tweet is Brian Harsin and his staff have performed their best recruiting job to date. Tank Bigsby, who was expected to transfer, has now decided to remain at Auburn. Quote, "We had to sell him on our vision," a source said.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Okay. So basically,
The news
dude
got
wasn't
out.
necessarily wrong.
Right. Tank probably told him. And
That
when
he
he
was-
tweeted it, Brian Harsin said, "Hey, dude, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me tell you what we're going to do for you, Tank."
Interesting that conversation took place with Tank and not with Bo.
Apparently, no, there was a conversation with Bo.
Oh,
So
Bo just wasn't having it.
here's the thing. There was a conversation between Brian Harsin, Bo Nix, and
Patrick Nix.
Patrick Nix.
Well, of
And
course.
apparently the vision Brian Harsin had for Auburn football did not match the vision that Bo Nix had for himself. Which is
Hate
fine.
when that happens.
I mean, that's fair. You're a new coach. You get to pick what your direction is.
Mhm.
And that's why it's okay for Bo Nix to pick his direction.
Right.
It's fine. I'm not mad at either one of them.
Why are we continuing to get mad at kids leaving?
You know, I see so much of this. We're not teaching kids to stick it out and and play through things, this, that, and the other. And
Everybody leaves.
well, to which I said, well, if that's the case, then you can't fire coaches anymore, because the administration is
Play through it.
the administration is, just not following through on their word.
Yeah.
So next time you clamor for a coach to get fired, just remember that
Play through it.
you're asking the school to break their word.
And the thing is, I mean, the expectations that we have for 17, 18, 19-year-olds and the expectations that we have for full-grown adults are not the same.
And it's the opposite.
Mhm.
It should be the other way around.
Mhm.
We should hold the older ones to a higher,
To a higher
standard than the 18-year-olds. But hey,
yeah.
who are
Who are
we?
we?
We know. So Nostradamus, which is a phenomenal Twitter handle, by the way.
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus.
Is this a Georgia
It is,
fan?
in fact, a Georgia
Okay.
fan. Tank Bigsby used the portal to restructure his contract, which may be not off base, but it's hilarious.
Hey, all these coaches out here getting their contracts reworked for having their names mentioned with various vacancies. I mean, why not? Do you, Tank?
So NCAA portal is a Twitter
I
account,
saw that.
and they, which it's kind of, it's supposed to be a funny Twitter account, but they do have some information in there, which is
Mhm.
interesting in and of itself. But boy, this tweet here saying that Tank Bigsby just arrived and informed me that he ran out of bounds on purpose. Oof.
Saw that last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But good for Tank for choosing. Good for Auburn for
being proactive.
yes, and good for Tank on taking that meeting.
Mm-hmm. Because he could have just said, "I'm out."
Yeah. Brian Harsin said, "Hear me out," and Tank Bigsby did. And now Auburn didn't lose their two best players in a matter of a day.
But now, I mean,
You better go get some offensive linemen.
well, not only that, but I mean, you got to really be committed to him if you're the Auburn coaching staff.
You mean a la Butch Jones and a certain former Beach running back? When Butch Jones said, "Nah, Jalen, we're going to run the I and we're going to feature you. We're going to put you in a single back set. We're going to feature you." 2 games in, he wasn't being featured.
Among other things, he wasn't being.
And he said deuces.
But it was his fault.
Initially, I was upset at Jalen because I thought that there was it was just him going, "Well, I'm not getting the playing time I want. So, or I'm not getting the carries I want." He's playing the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
"I'm not getting the carries I want. I'm leaving." And I was like, dude, it's the middle of the season. But then the rest of the story comes out.
There we go.
And you're like, Butch Jones is a jerk. Can we fire him yet?
He couldn't then.
They did 8 weeks later, though. It didn't take much longer after that.
Yeah, man.
I wish Jalen had stayed, although I don't think Jeremy Pruitt would have done much different. Although Jalen probably would have been a featured back
Well, I mean,
in a Pruitt-style offense.
he liked big backs and he could not lie. I mean,
So, nice. Anyway, Tank Bigsby's not going to the portal. Spencer Rattler is out of the portal. And surprise, surprise.
You've seen Shawshank.
Mhm.
I think of the character. Is the portal like Dufresne's escape.
His that's exactly, well, I don't know if I would call this escaping, but yes, that's exactly what it is.
Well, I mean, if Spencer Rattler is going to a program where its most renowned quarterback from the 2020 season was a grad assistant
Turned
pulled out of grad assistantdom to take snaps.
Yeah, but
I mean, Spencer Rattler is better.
but that program is not. And of all the places you could have gone that were a quarterback away, South Carolina's far more than a quarterback away.
South Carolina is not a quarterback away, but apparently Shane Beamer at Oklahoma? I don't remember this. But apparently they have a history.
Perhaps he recruited him to Virginia Tech. I can't imagine that they have any kind of real history.
According to CBS Sports, Spencer Rattler transfers to South Carolina. Former Sooners quarterback reunites with Gamecocks coach Shane Beamer.
Yep. He was, in fact, part of the staff in 2018. He went from Oklahoma to South Carolina. Well, there you go.
It would be an understatement to call South Carolina's quarterback room crazy in 2021. At one point, grad assistant Zeb Nolan came off the bench to start because so few players were ready for game time. Vanderbilt fans very familiar with Zeb Nolan, by the way.
Thank you.
Yep.
Did
here for you.
Did you know that Beamer was a grad assistant under Fulmer? That's right.
No.
From 01 to 03, Shane Beamer served as a graduate assistant under Philip Fulmer at the University of Tennessee, where he then went to Mississippi State, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Georgia, Oklahoma, and then back to South Carolina as the head coach. It's probably a good fit.
Beamer was an assistant for the Sooners from 18 to 20.
Right.
So they would have been.
And he would have played under him last year.
So,
I mean,
there's something to be said for going and playing for somebody that you're comfortable with.
Yeah, but
especially coming off of what he's coming off of, he needs somebody that's going to love on him a little bit. That's not to be. I mean, I don't think you can overplay that aspect of this.
So long as you don't do something like Josh Heupel did, and
with Joe Milton.
Yeah, I mean, just because you recruited the guy so heavily out of high school, he was pretty much anointed the starter the second he stepped foot on campus, and yet Hendon Hooker was the better quarterback.
But Hendon Hooker was the better quarterback. Hendon Hooker was already in the program when Milton transferred in.
Right.
I don't think this is that, because I don't think there's anybody.
There's nobody else.
There's not a Hendon Hooker
in the program. No, I
already.
Sure.
Unless it's Zeb Nolan.
I think he's done.
Spencer Rattler can't beat Zeb Nolan.
I think Zeb's got to be done, right? He's got to have his eligibility's got to run out at this point, right? Who knows? Oh man. Well, yeah, and he's not the only one. Michael Penick Jr., the former Indiana quarterback, is headed to Washington. So
that's interesting. I mean, there's no geographic boundaries for anybody. This guy going from the Big Ten to the Pac-12, and I don't know what the connection is there, if any. That's an interesting move,
isn't it? Though, when we come back, we're going to talk to Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders. So stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns to the Lee Company studio after these messages from our friends and sponsors. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Festop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Festop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Festop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
From the Blue Raiders to the two-tone blue, covering the teams you care about. It's only on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Glad to have you with us here as we continue on our journey to the bowl games. Bowl games start Friday. The first one involves the Hall of Famers' alma mater. And the gentleman joining us on the line is the voice of said alma mater.
His alma mater.
Of Middle Tennessee State, getting ready for the Bahamas Bowl, and joining us from Paradise is the voice, Chip Walters. What's going on, man?
Not much. Just trying to give you a good little view here of the hotel, and then right behind me is the Shark Tank, and this guy right back here.
I'm walking away.
Is that guy back there? He's getting ready to feed the sharks, and so. Yeah. So anyway, it's been today was the first practice day here in the Bahamas, and it was about a 2-hour full pad practice today. So after a travel day yesterday, I think the guys were kind of looking forward to getting out there.
Honestly, we don't even have to go a whole week without college football. We go less than one full week without college football.
Because we had Army Navy.
We had Army Navy
on Saturday.
And on Friday, we get 2 bowl games.
What's the other one?
It is. Oh man, I wish you hadn't asked me that, because I didn't. I did not have them up. Northern Illinois and Coastal Carolina.
Ooh,
that's a pretty good.
Ooh,
and it'll be in
Maction versus Fun Belt
in Exploria Stadium.
Where is that?
Orlando, I believe.
Okay.
That's what it's the Cure Bowl. Here we go. And Exploria Stadium is the home to the soccer team.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a soccer specific stadium in downtown Orlando that's hosting
a football bowl
game. So we got Chip now. Chip, what's going on, man?
Well, just getting ready for what's coming up. We had practice today, and that was out at the stadium. They actually didn't practice in the stadium. They practiced in the track stadium right next door, and that was about a 2-hour practice. And after a long travel day, everybody got up about 4:30 in the morning to get to campus and then get to the airport and all that. It was, I think today they were kind of happy to get back out there. And according to the coaches, they all said it was a pretty good practice today.
Now, Chip, what's the time difference? What time is it where you are right now? Well,
it's 8:30 at night. No, I'm kidding. It's an hour ahead. It's Eastern time. It's Eastern time.
Okay. All right. Cool.
8:30 at night.
Yeah. I'm sitting here looking at him in front of the palm trees and everything, and really getting a little jealous. But this guy. What are you looking for out of this bowl appearance against Toledo, Chip? for this team?
Well, the headline is pretty easy to write. You've got the number one takeaway defense in the country. Middle has gotten 31 takeaways this year. And Toledo has the number one take care of the ball offense. Their quarterback has thrown 16 touchdowns, only one interception. And they only have 6 or 7 total turnovers all year long. So that's the, what is it, the irresistible force against the immovable object kind of deal.
Right.
But, you know, they're the, you know, everybody, when you talk to folks around the MAC, Toledo is, they say is the most talented teams in that league. 4 losses of 3 points or less, including one to Notre Dame, at Notre Dame. They've been really good on offense lately. They're averaging 34 points a game. The last 3 games, they've scored at least 35 in the last 3, and 2 of the 3 over 40. So Middle's defense has its hands full because they're very balanced, run and pass. And I think but I think our defense will step up. The key is probably going to be the offense and what kind of point production can they come up with. Talking to Brent Dillon today, it just kind of reminded me in his first year what a challenge he had and what a really good job he's done having to design an offense for 4 different starting quarterbacks throughout the season.
It can be a challenge, no question there.
Yeah.
And currently, who is expected to be the quarterback in this game?
Well, I think both will play on Friday. I think Nick Vattiato will start. He was injured in the late in the first half against FAU. But I also think Mike DeLello will play a good bit. You know, Middle has been kind of depleted a little bit in running back position, so DeLello kind of gives you a little bit more run game potential with what he does in his game. But I think, when they're able to play, if they're getting some decent production out of the backs, I think Vattiato is going to be your guy for most of it.
Gotcha. Well, when you get to a bowl game, the most important thing is the practice time, especially for a guy like Vattiato, who is a
I'm not sure you have me anymore, but obviously our connection has been a little bit shaky here today, but I'm going to just wrap up by on your point that that Vattiato, you're right, the extra practice time is huge for him. So he's, it's great for him to be able to get that extra time and especially those probably 10 extra practices as they get ready for this bowl game and also head into winter workouts and spring ball. So now I think I've got you back.
You do. I don't. We have you. I don't know if you have us.
I didn't, but I just started talking. So now I have you back.
Very. See that
when in doubt, talk.
There you go. We'll shut up. As far as this basketball team goes, you have any more football questions? No. Okay, I was just going to ask. Obviously this basketball team has been phenomenal early in this season. What are how are things going right now? And for the basketball Raiders.
Well, they're 8-2 right now, off to obviously a great start. Huge challenge tomorrow night. You've got trip to Ole Miss to take on Coach Davis. By the way, today is Kermit's birthday, And since they lost to Western Kentucky by 23 on Saturday night, I'm sure he's not enjoying his birthday one bit today. And I think we all know what the Blue Raiders are going to be facing tomorrow night. In that you've got a team that Kermit has really gotten after a good bit after losing to Western Kentucky. So it's a big challenge to kind of see where you are against a good team. Then after that, they have a home game with Coastal Carolina. That'll be on Sunday afternoon. And then we'll travel to Chattanooga midweek next week. And that'll be it, because that's Christmas week, and all of a sudden it's here, and then the conference season will start on December 30th.
Hey, Mo, do you know who is going to be filling in for Chip tonight?
I do not know who's going to be filling in for Chip tonight.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, I mean.
Yeah.
Be down at Ole Miss.
Okay. All right.
I'll tell you what, Chip, you better not get pipped.
Oh, I know what you mean. And Jeff's been great. He filled in for me against Bryan College when football was at FAU, and he's been great over the years. He got to go to the Great Alaska Shootout one year and cover. So, but it's great to be able to have him around and be able to work with him.
Wait a minute. Did you say he got to go to the Great Alaska Shootout?
Well, maybe I got to come to the Bahamas. He had to go to Alaska.
That's kind of the way I think that breaks down. Actually,
of the two,
yeah, I think Jeff would have swapped places with you in a heartbeat. You not so much, but yeah, I like the way you spun that though.
I do what I can.
As we continue getting ready for bowl season, the hoops is well underway. This Ole Miss Middle Tennessee State rivalry here, Ole Miss only leads at 7-6, Mo, and took the lead last year.
Well, that's right.
You sound like you were going to make a point there, Chip.
Well, I was going to just making that point that Chris made, is that it was just last year that Ole Miss got the lead in the series, and when Kermit was in Murfreesboro, we had a nice little streak going there, and then Nick was thrown into a rebuilding situation, and so this may be the last in the current configuration of this series. It may be a few years before they play again, but it's been a really interesting when we played in Murfreesboro, we've played in Oxford, we have played in South Haven, Mississippi, and all have been very, very competitive.
South Haven, Mississippi, which is just South Memphis.
Yes, correct.
I saw a thing that said Memphis should just be in Mississippi at this point.
Chip, as you look at this team, as you mentioned, they are 8-2 going into this Ole Miss game. McDevitt comes on board in 2018, so he's been there 4 years now? Is that right? This is fourth year.
This is fourth season. Yes.
This is fourth season. Feeling like he's finally getting his footing, and you talked about him kind of taking over a rebuilding situation. How do you feel like the momentum built in this non-conference schedule carries over into CUSA play?
Well, that's going to be interesting to see how that does play out. And I think the things that Middle is doing well right now will travel pretty well into conference play, and that is they're doing things defensively. They're forcing turnovers, getting points off turnovers, easy baskets, things like that. They're using their depth. They are playing 11 guys a night, 12 guys sometimes. The tough part about their lineup right now is that DeAndre Dishman is your starting center at 6'6". and he plays like an absolute demon and plays extremely hard. But you know, he has to get his knee drained about every 10 days. And he's facing guys who are, you know, true 6'9", 6'10" guys. And so, you know, he's having to get some help every once in a while. So that's kind of how, that's one of the things that concerns me is where is his durability in the post throughout the year. Right now, that the 1, 2, 3, and 4 middle's pretty solid, and Eli Lawrence coming along has been a very pleasant experience for him because he's been explosive the whole time he's been here, but now he's got that explosiveness under control, and he's been the leading scorer 2 of the last 3 games.
There you have it. You can listen to Ole Miss MTSU on WGNS and the game 2. You can hear Chip on the call at the Bahamas Bowl Friday at 11. So thanks, Chip. We appreciate it.
Aloha.
And we'll be back after this on Southern Middle Tennessee. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Festop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Festop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Festop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
The following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Let me say something else too about Mo Patton. Mo has done it all. I mean, he's covered the Titans, he's covered the Vols, he's done high school. He's a fantastic writer. He's now actually hosting a talk show every day in Columbia that is outstanding.
I got my Alabama drink with me today, JP. A little Grapico action.
There we go.
I'm the second best thing to ever come to Alabama.
Wow.
And that's
Right
the
next to
best.
Grapico.
Wow.
The music in the beginning of
Mhm.
that is kind of groovy. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
That's Mo. He's a groovy kind of fella. It's a groovy kind of Tuesday with the grooviest man this side of the Duck River, the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, and the second best thing to come out of Alabama, Chris Yao. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today.
Ah,
I'm just shocked that you settled for the second best thing to come out of Alabama.
you must never had Grapico. Just ask Purnell. He'll tell you.
There you go. There you go. Okay. All right.
Oh man, what a great Tuesday it has been. I am Mo, I'm looking at a tweet right now from Computer Cowboy that has some interesting information about the Tennessee Titans, and I guess we might as well talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about when it comes to the Tennessee Titans when we talk about this, because it doesn't make sense for us to just chit chat about it when we have an expert on the line. Associated Press sports editor for the state of Tennessee and Hall of Famer in her own right. It is, of course, Teresa Walker. Teresa, thanks for joining us, and we appreciate it. I am just impressed with this Tennessee Titans team being able to, I guess the best way to put it is be conservative and still win. And I'm looking forward to the next few weeks. How about you?
Well, agreed with that. I mean, this is a team that has used an NFL record 86 different players this year, 49 different starters, the last count that I noticed. I mean, it's kind of amazing. They bring 3 guys back off of IR on Saturday, put one on, so that, that left them with 16 on IR going into Sunday against the Jaguars. So, I think there's 15 who've come back from IR. But some of those guys have gone back on it. So, coming off a bye, Mike Vrabel is now, he's yet to lose coming off a bye, which is a good thing. Or when he's had at least 10 days to prepare for an opponent, another good detail. So, it's fun to watch some of these NFL power rankings coming down today. And it's like, they just keep ignoring the Titans, who, last I checked, are the number 2 seed in the AFC if the season were to end today. And yet there's 4 more games left. And, the Patriots schedule is a lot tougher than the Titans. So, the Titans, yes, the Patriots will have the head-to-head. But, guess what? If the, Titans need to finish off business and try to go perfect down the stretch. But if they can do that, that puts the pressure on the Patriots. But if nothing else, then that ensures that, they're winning the division. means a home playoff game, and would mean a second playoff game in the divisional round. And then if something happens to the Patriots, then guys, number 2 seed would be, would have a chance. If something happens, it's kind of like Miss America. If number 1 seed cannot fulfill their duty and host the AFC Championship game, that would be going to the number 2 seed, which, right now are the Tennessee Titans. So a team that just seems to be getting healthier as time goes by. So, we'll see. Bud Dupree is the latest guy who could come off this week. It is interesting to note that Julio Jones was activated to the practice, designated to return to the practice window last Monday. They have not made that move yet with Bud Dupree. You would think that he'd certainly love to be playing on Sunday in Pittsburgh against his former team, but another week doesn't probably hurt them too much. I know the Pittsburgh Steelers are desperate and need a win to because they're game out of first themselves in their division. The AFC North, which is just like talk about a derby, smash car derby race or something. It's just an ugly division right now. But Titans. If you're a Titans fan, sit back and enjoy. The Titans finally showed us. It was a little boring, but they showed us that they can do to a team with a losing record what they're supposed to do, and they're just going to have to do that 4 more times down the stretch.
86 players on the active roster, 49 different starters. You see that number going up? Either of those numbers going up this week, or will that number pretty much cover everybody?
You would think it would, right, Mo? But hey, maybe Golden Tate gets activated. Monitoring the Twitter world today, Rob Moore was telling him that the reason we haven't seen Golden Tate yet is they got to get him into shape. It is, guys, this whole thing that you can sign somebody in November and they walk in and play in an NFL game. No, working out at a gym is not the same thing as playing NFL football. So, they're trying to get him up to speed as quickly as they can. If he gets onto a field, then guess what? Then we could get to 87 players used this season. I don't think he would get a chance to start because, you got Julio Jones back, and they really like Nick Westbrook-Akina. There's Chester Rogers and such, but so maybe the 49 starters stays the same. But the fact that this team is 9-4, having assured and clinched a 6th straight winning season, guys. The only other time that's happened for this franchise was in the late 80s into the early 90s, the run and shoot days with Warren Moon, when they were just throwing the ball all over the place, and a run that was ended by the debut of the salary cap era. So it's pretty amazing. And now they've got these final 4 weeks to see how healthy can they get. And Derrick Henry's the biggest unknown that's still out there. So they got 4 games left this season. That would put him at 10 weeks from his injury and the surgery to repair the Jones fracture in his right foot. If they were to manage to get to the 1 seed and get a bye, is there a chance we see Derrick Henry in the postseason? Stay tuned. If they get that healthy, then bar the door, Katie.
Please don't storm out of our segment here when I ask you this. Who do we see first, Golden Tate or Zach Cunningham?
That's a good question. I would say Zach Cunningham, just for the fact that he has been playing all season long with the Houston Texans. And, the issues that he had in Houston, I don't know if that was just an attempt by Zach to push his way out of an ugly situation. If there were other issues going on, I will say this, that those shenanigans will not be tolerated inside the Tennessee Titans. And if Zach Cunningham wants to stick around in the NFL with a team that's got a winning record, I mean, think about this. He goes from a 2-win team to a 9-win team. So, would expect Zach to be, on his P's and Q's. Yes, sir. Yes, Coach Vrabel. Yes, Coach Bowen, and do everything that they want me to do because he woke up in clover. So I would hope he should be, especially with the injuries to David Long, Monty Rice. This is a good situation for him. Yes, they've got Jayon Brown back. Rashaan Evans was back this last weekend, had one of the better games of his career on Sunday. But, the inside linebacker depth has been thin and none. So Zach Cunningham has a chance to contribute pretty quickly.
You know, Teresa, going back to Zach Cunningham's tenure at Vanderbilt, I've never heard anybody say a crossword about him until his Texans departure. And so for that reason, I tend to believe that it's exactly what you alluded to there. He kind of engineered his way out of Houston, and who can blame him? So I feel like that was the exception and not the rule for him. I wouldn't anticipate there being any issues with him here.
He also knows how Vrabel operates.
Mhm.
I mean, he's played under Vrabel, so it's not like he doesn't, he's walking into this with some kind of different attitude. He knows what Vrabel expects.
Absolutely. And, now the thing is, he wasn't apparently able to even get to the building until yesterday. No, today's Tuesday. Sorry. In my recovery world, I have to check my phone to be sure of the day and the date. But, that's the thing. How much of that was, some of the issues down in Texas were, him apparently being late for some COVID tests and stuff. And, for this team that has been through not one, but two different outbreaks of COVID issues, one involving the head coach, got to think that that's going to be something that's made very clear to him, that you will make every testing appointment. You won't miss anything. You will be on time or you'll be gone, because you know what they've got in him? Nothing. They've got a simple waiver claim. So it's all up to Zach to, and by the way, if Zach, once he's in town, go visit Vanderbilt. You can't get anywhere over on Vanderbilt without being masked, without being vaccinated, or, you've got to be up to speed over on the Vanderbilt campus. And so maybe while he's, back in town, maybe somebody can give him a little bit of a vaccine guideline that he can, get him all up to speed. But again, if he looks wrong, if he says one thing, if he's a minute late, guess what? The Tennessee Titans will not hesitate to let him go bye. So it's all the emphasis is on him to show up and be a good, good player and do everything he can to keep himself on this roster, which, if you're the Tennessee Titans, having a motivated Zach Cunningham, we all know the athletic ability that young man has. So, to put him into this defense, however they use him, should be a nice boost for this defense.
Speaking with Teresa Walker here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Teresa, Chris alluded to the Jacksonville performance. It just seemed like they wanted to get their feet back on the ground coming out of the bye week, coming out of those back-to-back losses going into the bye week. Feel like this team is headed in the right direction as they go into this Pittsburgh game on the road?
Well, yeah, think about this. We saw them really block well in New England, 270 yards rushing in that game. And it's like, it looked like there was a little bit of a setback on Sunday. But, part of the problem, Nate Davis had missed, I think, 3 or 4 games with a concussion. He was back at right guard, and you had Roger Saffold go in and out, and Aaron Brewer filling in there. And, Aaron Brewer filled in very nicely on the right side, but, you come over to the left side, and we saw them get, him and Taylor Lewan got taken advantage of for one of the sacks. They've got to be better in protection on that offensive line. And part of the problem has been, just the revolving door. Guys go in and out with injuries and such. So, you get a second straight game with Nate Davis back. Hopefully he can maybe refine. You lose something when you miss nearly a month of football, okay? So refine some of his techniques, get back into some chemistry with David Quesenberry on his right side and Ben Jones there in the middle. And we have seen this offensive line kind of really come together in December and in January and help this team do some good things. So the pressure's on them to snap to, so to speak. And they've got to, we've seen it. We've seen them be able to replace Derrick Henry with the committee approach. So they need to be able to rely on that, particularly Sunday. I mean, Pittsburgh Steelers games, I think this is the 80th game all time between these franchises, former AFC Central foes. Guys, as somebody who was once an Oilers fan, I remember well the AFC Championship games in 78-79 where the Steelers kind of stood in their way and ended their dream. Bum Phillips, they never kicked that door in. So this will be a test. No matter how much the Steelers are struggling, no matter how much Ben Roethlisberger looks like he's already retired, this will be a tough game. And, so go in no matter what it takes. And the biggest sign that I saw from this team on Sunday, they took care of the ball. There was not a single turnover. And for a team that they've had more turnovers, already this season than they had they had 12 turnovers last season as a team. And, they had 9 the previous 2 weeks going into the bye. So, that's an area that if they clean that up alone, they'll be in much better shape.
Teresa, do you mind sticking around with us for just a few minutes?
Sure. I'm not going anywhere.
All right. We'll be right back after this. Y'all stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Festop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Festop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Festop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's Chris Yao.
Well, welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Talking with Teresa Walker of the Associated Press, still on the line with us, thank goodness, because we have a lot to talk about, including some more Titan stuff, we might want to get into some Preds, etc. But what I was looking at, the tweet I was looking at, Mo, from Computer Cowboy, this is a graph that shows the win rate of a team and how it correlates to different grades like pass protection, run blocking, etc., etc. The team on the top of the list for both pass protection and pass defense is the LA Rams. They grade above 80 on both of those, and the Titans made both of those look like trash can juice.
Give me that again.
The LA Rams grade about 85
on
on pass protection.
Pass protection.
And they are the number 1 team in the league also in
pass defense,
in pass rush.
Pass rush. Okay.
So
okay.
That's and they are by far the best team in pass rush. And again, Titans made them look like trash can juice.
Again. Lies, damn lies, and statistics.
And the Titans, which grade on pass protection around 53. 53. And people still want to blame Ryan Tannehill. I got nothing for that. I cannot tell people anymore at all. I just can't.
Yeah.
So anyway, just thought that was interesting. But this Titans team again continues to just win ball games. And
it's
Texans
almost like Al Davis was their owner or something.
Right, just win, baby.
There you go.
And that's what's going to happen. So we talked about the playoff picture yesterday, Teresa, and you talked about it a little bit earlier. But right now, a Patriots loss at any point, if the Titans can win out against the Dolphins,
49ers,
Houston, and I know, don't tell
Steelers.
me, and the Steelers obviously this week, they win those 4 games. The Patriots just have to lose 1. And the Titans
and they play
are
the Colts this weekend.
And they play the Colts this weekend, and the Titans are the 1 seed.
And the Patriots still have to host the Bills, who, for a couple quarters, most of the last 2 games haven't looked like much. They've almost been their own worst enemy, but they could actually get themselves together and go into New England and do something that, and stand up. So there's a reason they play the games. And the one thing that you have to, if you're a Titans fan, one thing you should like about this coaching staff is they do what they have to do to win the games. And you mentioned the stats, and it is funny because what matters is being able to go in and win a game. And what we've seen with Mike Vrabel and this coaching staff is they can figure out what they need. The game plan that they had in New England was perfect. I mean, think about this. Bill Belichick gets raved for only throwing 3 times in that windstorm that was Buffalo on that Monday night game. Well, he took the game plan and just kind of refined what Mike Vrabel and the Titans did against them the week before, where I think Ryan Tannehill threw 21 times, but it was mostly a run game, and they just kind of imposed their will. The problem in that game were the 4 turnovers. If the Titans didn't turn it over 4 times, if Randy Bullock didn't miss the 4 points, with his foot, missing those kicks right. I mean, shoot, he hit not just once, but twice hit the upright on the right side. I mean, seriously? So, they did what they needed to do on a day where their receiving core was Nick Westbrook-Akina, Chester Rogers, Des Fitzpatrick, and Cody Hollister off the practice squad. So, that's why, the biggest challenge for this Titans team has been literally healing up so that they can figure out, instead of trying to teach guys, okay, go do this, they can simply say, okay, we're going to do this. And it's, sliding people back into positions where they know the game plan. They, refine some chemistry and timing with Ryan Tannehill, et cetera. But that's been the biggest challenge for this team. Think about this. Can you imagine what this team might have done if they'd been only half as healthy as they've been?
No. No, I
They're
can't.
9-4 with 86 players used.
It's amazing to think about it, in that, in that framework, 86 players, 49 starters, and they've had almost as many starters as an entire roster for a game. It's
yep.
But again, as you look at this Patriots schedule down the stretch, they play Indianapolis on Saturday in Indy. They host Buffalo the day after Christmas, and then they finish up against visiting Jacksonville and at Miami. So you feel like if they're going to lose one, it's going to be one of these next 2. And the Bills almost got their stuff together against Tampa Bay this past weekend. So, I mean, maybe it's in there against an AFC East rival to go and get it done next week if it's not Indianapolis this weekend.
Well, Mo, the Bills coulda, shoulda, woulda in that Monday night game, the problem is they were their own worst enemy. I mean, they get down near the end zone how many times and just kept throwing it. It's like, let Josh Allen beat Josh Allen. You don't have any other running threat. Let him run. They did that in Tampa where he ran over, for over 100 yards. So, if they can just kind of, let him be himself and do what needs to be, then, they've got to be thinking, I sure was, that they cost themselves that game against New England. They have only themselves to blame. So if they can, fix a couple things and, do what they did in Tampa and let Josh Allen carry them as much as possible, that's going to be the recipe for them. So it absolutely is doable for them. Now, can they do it? I mean, we're talking about a franchise that, had Super Bowl dreams at the beginning of the season. We're now sitting at, 7-6, trying to think, oh, goodness, now we got to work to make sure we get into
In the
the
playoffs.
postseason.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, they're only a game
Yeah,
ahead of
so-
the 13th place Dolphins. So there's that.
Exactly. So
Gracious.
desperation could be the Titans' friend because the Bills have to win. They need this more than the Patriots next week.
Well, you know what? The Buffalo Bills, and I'm just going to throw this out, 7th best offense, 2nd best defense, and the number 1 special teams in the NFL.
And they're 7-6.
And they're 7-6.
Oh, wow.
How?
That's insane to me.
Just goes to it is, but it just goes to show that sometimes these stats are like momentum. They're just numbers, and there's only one category that that one stat that matters the most in any sport, any league, is your win-loss record. And
Oops.
the Titans have got 9 wins and 4 losses, and that is the big number. Would you like to have Ryan Tannehill already at 3,500 yards passing? Would you love it if Derrick Henry were still running and had the rushing title locked up again? Of course you would. But again, it comes down to just one thing, what's your winning record, what's your seed going into the postseason, and then what you do in the postseason. All these, ask the, Indianapolis Colts for all those years when they had Peyton and they racked up, division titles after division titles, but they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. It just doesn't matter what, Titans fans remember too well what happened when they were the number 1 seed those 2 years. So it's how you finish that matters.
It's all about how you finish. Does not matter. You can go 9-7 or 9-8 now, I guess. And as long as you win the last one, it's all that matters.
At Titans Therapy, since Mike Vrabel took over as head coach, the Titans are 7-0 the week after playing the Jaguars.
That's an interesting stat.
That is an interesting stat. I mean,
I'll take it. And here's the thing. If the Titans are nothing if not consistent with this type of stuff under Mike Vrabel, they don't, they win after, if they lose by double digits, they're going to win the next week. On anytime they have extra rest, they're going to win. Anytime that, they play a rookie quarterback, they're going to struggle. No, that didn't happen this week, but like most of the time they're pretty consistent under Vrabel in those type of statistics. So, hey, that's good news.
Take it.
It is.
Any good news you can get. Yeah.
And if they win on Sunday, they will be 8-0 against the 2020 playoff team.
Man, that's insane. Teresa, we got about 5 minutes left, and I want to talk a bit about UC Soros and his incredible performance up at New York at the Garden recently. 32 saves shutout, and just this guy just continues to impress and has been the catalyst for this rebuild that we are in. And the Predators now sit in 2nd place in the Central Division. How about that?
Well, I tell you, my only doubts about this team was I needed to see UC Soros do this for a whole season. And he has certainly, started the season the way he finished last year, which is everything you could hope. And you're getting the play from Duchesne and Ryan Johansson, Philip Forsberg, what you needed to see from those highly paid players as well. And, I'll admit, I didn't think that they would be able to be that competitive this year because, let's be honest, we hadn't seen that production from any of them.
Mhm.
But if Saras continues this and can finish off what he has started, then yes, this team is going to have a chance. And they're playing the kind of hockey that can make them competitive and dangerous in the postseason. And again, as the Predator fans learn very well, it doesn't matter where you finish as long as you get in. And that, you can, once you're in the postseason, that's all that matters. And they've got a kind of style right now, a tough style, defensive style, ability to score, goaltending, all the things that you need to do what you need to do in a postseason to try to make a run. So I had them penciled in as maybe they'd make it, they'd be out in the first round. I can't say that anymore because they're getting everything. They're checking all the boxes that I had major questions about this franchise this season. So, stay buckled in. This is some fun hockey to watch.
Yeah, 4-0 on that road trip, 5 wins in a row going back to Montreal and the overtime win at home. Here's the thing. Tonight's game has been postponed against Calgary. This is the second time the Preds have had a postponement this season. Is that something to be concerned with, or is the extra rest not a bad thing?
Well, extra rest is never a bad thing. I think I'd be more worried about how many, the Flames issues is why tonight's game got postponed. But I saw some tweets that, some hockey writer who's keeping an eye on, there's a possibility of some Predators possibly testing positive. So, that's the bigger concern, is making sure you can get through the season as healthy as possible. And that seems to, so let's keep our fingers crossed right now for them. It's going to be interesting to watch moving forward.
Yeah, they're not the only ones. Carolina has 4 more players testing positive as of 20 minutes ago. The Bruins obviously have a couple, with Craig Smith being one of those. I mean, for some reason, hockey seems to be the COVID machine. So it's interesting in and of itself. Have you watched any? Go ahead.
Chris, the problem is they're traveling all over the country, and in so many of these arenas,
Both
they're
countries.
going, they're not. Yes, both countries, and not all markets are requiring masks in arenas. They dropped the mask requirement in Bridgestone, and we're seeing some of the numbers coming up. We're seeing it starting to hit the NBA as well, and the NFL's got a bunch. I mean, shoot, the Cleveland Browns have a short week playing on Saturday, and they've got issues. Like 8 people put on the COVID reserve list today. So, the NHL is not immune to this. All pro sports are, but this is the thing. They're traveling around. They're trying to have a season as normal, and yet we're still dealing with COVID. So, stay tuned is all I can say.
Stay tuned indeed. Stay tuned here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports today when we get to the next segment, as it's the top 5 Heisman Trophy runners-up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Teresa, thanks for taking some time with us today. We appreciate you as always.
Take care of the show.
Take care of yourself and get well soon.
Thank you guys so much.
Again, like I said, we've got the top 5 Heisman runners up on the other side of the break. Real quick, Mo, NIL deals for some Rattlers. You heard me right. Rattlers. Well, they're wrestlers right now, but they've signed NIL deals with WWE. 16 NCAA athletes have signed NIL deals with the WWE, and all of them are wrestlers. So
that should be interesting.
I think it's pretty cool. For wrestlers, that's the obvious choice, right?
Right.
So
For MMA,
good for them. For finding a way to make a little cash.
no doubt.
And good for WWE for trying to get into the NCAA wrestling world. It's smart. Kurt Angle was a good guy. He was a good fit. So maybe they can get more. Again, Heisman runners up, top 5. Right after this. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Festop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Festop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Festop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
List are for suckers. Oh, did I leave my mic on? It's Top 5 Tuesday on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Here's Chris and Matt.
JP, don't fall into the trap that your friends on Twitter are falling into.
What's that?
Vandy at Vandy_62. I trust Barton Simmons and his evaluation of talent. I truly believe he's found lots of underrated players in this signing class. We could be looking back in 4 years and say this was the class that took Vanderbilt football to another level. The replies are, year 3 is when we should start expecting some wins. With this schedule, I'm expecting at least 1 or 2 next year. I don't think 5 wins is a lot to ask for next year. 5 wins is the expectation for me, to be honest. I'm just telling you.
Slow your roll.
Don't fall into the trap.
Slow your roll.
You know I'm a realist.
Oh, man.
Slow your roll.
I mean, I haven't looked at their schedule, and maybe 5 wins is possible, but, Tennessee fans are the opposite. Tennessee fans are like gloom and doom until like a month before the season. Then we're going all the way.
The roles have flipped. There's no question.
It's
They have
weird.
flipped. If you had this season's schedule for Vanderbilt, 5 wins
Should have been
possible
Mhm.
for anybody.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it was a dreadful schedule. But yeah.
Well, let's look at.
There were 2 games.
You got Hawaii and Elon to start the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had ETSU last year too.
Well, Hawaii is in absolute disarray. They are not. Hawaii could not make the FCS playoffs. The problem is that your other 2 are Wake Forest and NIU, both. Yeah, and you got to go
Conference
2
finalists,
and you got to go to NIU. You have to go to Husky Stadium in DeKalb.
Who signed that contract?
Who signed that deal? Then you get Alabama, by the way, which is going to break you for the rest of the year when you are
roll tide. Yeah, what are the next 5 games after Alabama?
Ole Miss, Georgia, Missouri, and
Oh,
South
God.
Carolina, then Kentucky, then Florida, then Tennessee. That's a brutal schedule. I don't know how anybody expects you guys to win 5 games next year.
Well, because 5 games would mean that you beat
Wake
certainly
Forest.
Hawaii, Elon, NIU,
which is not a guarantee,
no, and 2 SEC games
or Wake Forest.
and 1 SEC game. Where's the 1 SEC game?
There's not one. Missouri, maybe.
And the thing is, I mean, they should have beat South Carolina this
They
year.
should have beat South Carolina.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But they get South Carolina this year with a completely different mindset and a completely different quarterback. So I don't know. Maybe they're expecting to win that South Carolina game, and maybe they will. I'm not saying that Vanderbilt's just going to crap the bed. I'm just saying that realistically speaking, if I'm a Vanderbilt fan, I don't expect 5 wins.
No, nor should we. We should not expect 5 wins.
Expect 3 and hope for the best.
Expect to be better than we were this past year.
Well,
I don't know
to
how
be
you
competitive.
Seriously, and having read through the schedule just then, I don't know how you expect 3 because past Hawaii and Elon,
you got to win one of the next 2, and
you're going to NIU, and Wake Forest was a top 10 team at one point this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it seems the coaching carousel has stopped spinning, and Dave Clawson is still at Wake.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
anyway, I just don't want I don't want you to fall into that trap that your friends have fallen into.
I'm
JP.
firmly planted on the ground.
Keep that bar stocked.
No pun intended.
Keep that bar stocked.
All right, let's get into the top 5. Our top 5 all time. Heisman runners up. Who were and the criteria here is basically, it's whatever you want the criteria to be. Should they have won, or is it, are they just a better player? Did they turn out to be a better pro than the winner, or whatever? I mean, there's just a ton of criteria. Whatever you want the criteria to be, it is what it is. I don't have any honorable mentions, mainly because I just wrote down 5, and I think these 5 are pretty solid. So
I've got an honorable mention.
go ahead then.
2005, Vince Young. I mean, Reggie Bush won it. Vince Young won national championship.
Yeah, they were almost equals.
I think so.
Could have went either way and wouldn't have been upset. JP, do you have any ideas on honorable mentions?
No, I'm still filtering through. So
that's okay. You're good. Well, I will tell you that all but one of mine have played in the last 31 years. My list basically starts in 1990, except one. So my number 5, 1990, Notre Dame's Rocket Ismail.
Who won it? Rashawn Salam.
I don't know.
Ty Detmer.
Yes. Ty Detmer was the winner that year.
Well, I'll just tell you, I'm never rooting for any Notre Dame player to win anything. So,
well, I just think when you go back and watch the highlights of that kid, Rocket Ismail was
he was pretty special,
sick individual,
he was pretty
and
special.
Yeah. Eric Bieniemy came in third that year.
I think it's going to be tough though if you are a return specialist. I mean,
yeah, but he was a really good wide receiver at that level too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, continue your 5.
My number 5 is Darren McFadden, 2007. Tim Tebow won it.
The Wild Hog.
Yeah.
And the late Colt Brennan came in third. JP?
All right, I'm going to go 1995, Tommy Frazier, Nebraska. Now, not a great NFL career, but that Nebraska team and what they did to Florida.
That
What they
was
did to
fun
Florida.
to watch.
McFadden finished second twice, by the way.
Mm-hmm. In 06 and 07.
Mm-hmm.
To Troy Smith in 06 and Tebow in 07. Who won it in 95? Eddie George?
95,
Yes.
it
That was
was
Eddie.
Eddie George.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can't fault that. But
And my number 4 is Tommy Frazier. So we don't have to continue on that one.
all right.
My number 4, 2016, Deshaun Watson losing to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's, again, comparable. Could have gone either way.
And Clemson
Deshaun
won in
won
head-to-head, I believe, and won
the national title.
Right.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Who's your number 4, JP?
Number 4, I guess I could flip a coin on a year, but Andrew Luck finished second twice. 2010 to Cam Newton, 2011 to RG3.
He probably should have won it in 11, but
one of those years you think he should have won it. Maybe 2011. Cam's year was a pretty special year when he did.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think maybe 2011. So I'll go Andrew Luck in 2011 behind Robert Griffin III.
Speaking of Stanford, I would probably have Christian McCaffrey as an honorable mention, but that's neither here nor there.
Mhm.
Did I go first? This is my number 3.
It is
My number
correct.
3, Virginia Tech, 1999, Michael Vick. To me, I understand what Ron Dane did over his career, but
Finished
Michael,
third. I don't know if that
Michael,
matters to you.
oh, that's right, he did finish 3rd.
Mhm. You know who finished ahead of him?
Joe Hamilton.
Joe Hamilton, Georgia Tech.
You know, I guess I need to change that then. I'm going to go with Adrian Peterson then.
Okay.
Forgot about that. I forgot he finished 3rd, but Michael Vick should have won. Either way, he
This-
should have won.
This is number 3, right?
Mhm.
Okay. My number 3 is 1981 Herschel Walker losing to Marcus Allen of USC that year.
So-
Won it the next year.
That's why I didn't
But-
include Herschel in my top 5. But yes,
His sophomore year was better than his junior year. He probably deserved to win it more his sophomore year than he did his junior year. And he probably won it his junior year as a result of his sophomore
that's
year.
what I was going to say, because Marcus Allen was phenomenal. I mean, you can't deny what Marcus Allen did at Southern Cal, and probably beating out John Elway, and Eric Dickerson probably should have won it
Mhm.
in 82.
Exactly. That's my point.
So
Herschel probably shouldn't have won it in 82, but he probably should have won it in 81.
that's tough.
You drew me to that year. I went back and looked, and so just the very next year, I'm going to go John Elway, runner-up to Herschel Walker. You know who was 3rd? Eric Dickerson.
That's what we just
Yeah.
said. Eric
Yeah,
Dickerson should have
sorry.
won it.
Yeah.
That's quite a year.
That's
Those 3.
I mean,
well, that's a lot better than 2 years later when Doug Flutie wins it over Keith Byers and Robbie Bosco.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
who? Yeah, Herschel finished 3rd his freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
3rd, 2nd, then 1st.
It's a nice
Pretty good.
progression.
Yeah.
The way it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
My number 2 is the only one that is not in the modern era, I guess. And you got to go back to 1956. Paul Hornung wins it. Johnny Majors comes in 2nd, and I just can't stand for that. Can't stand for it.
Okay, so basically our number 1 and number 2 are flipped because my number 2 is Peyton Manning, 1997,
Well, there you go.
losing to a defensive player. And I just don't
They
under-
return specialists.
Yeah. So go ahead. Who's your
Yeah,
number
Johnny,
2?
I'm glad you brought that up because that deserves to be a top 2 or 3. I had the opportunity to interview him before he passed away about 5 years ago. He was one of the most fun interviews I've ever had on radio.
Well, the thing about Coach Majors was you never knew what he was going to
Exactly.
say.
Oh, yeah. He talked about it was during the 2016 election. He talked about digging a hole to China if Trump won. and then he talked about being stabbed in the back by Fulmer.
Mm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fulmer is certainly a subject you try to avoid with Coach Majors.
He brought it up though, but it was but it was just in passing. He just went on. Yeah, and I got stabbed in the back by Fulmer, and then we went on. You know, it just rolled right off.
He's something
Just
else.
rolled right off.
He
So.
was a jewel.
Peyton will be my number 1, so you guys can talk. Yeah, I'll let you guys.
That's number 1. So, and he said Majors is his
Majors
number 1.
is
So
my
there you
number
go.
1. Peyton was going to be my number 1, but as I started doing the research and realizing just how bad Paul Hornung's resume was that year, he threw for 3 touchdowns and 13 interceptions.
And won the Heisman Heisman Trophy.
He ran for 420 yards and 6 touchdowns.
That's it. He
And Notre Dame was 2-8.
2-8, yeah.
That's brutal.
Not only that bad stats, the team was bad.
Majors ran for 552. I'm sorry, ran for 549, threw for 552. He scored 12 touchdowns. He also played safety on defense. He returned kicks and punts, and UT was 10-0.
I don't know how you.
So that's why
Okay.
Coach Majors was my number one.
Yeah, I didn't go that far, but I knew it was an egregious mistake, but I didn't go into the statistics of it.
Probably the most egregious of all time.
It probably is.
But it goes back to, Cooks. You have to play for Notre Dame or beat Notre Dame to win the Heisman Trophy. Fortunately, we've advanced past that since then.
Thank God.
Of course, the all-time thing, somebody asked Johnny Majors who should have won the Heisman in 1956, and he said Jim Brown.
Which would have probably been accurate.
So
He was a gem.
he was.
No doubt. All right, that's going to do it for Tuesday's show. Tomorrow, going to be a lot more fun. We've got tons to get to. College bowl games are getting ready to start at the end of the week, so we're going to talk about those.
Redemption opportunity for the two of you.
It is. We got plenty of opportunity, Mo. Plenty of opportunity.
This guy.
We appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. Again, come back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. We appreciate it. For Mo Patton and JP Plant, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day and stay cool, Columbia.
Who's the 1 seed? This guy.
This guy.